I thought I'd get really fancy and sit in a director's chair. This is my upgraded video format. Anyway, so this shoot that I'm going to show you is with the Stella Pro Reflex S, the upgraded version with a larger battery. And this is how I'm shooting it. I just hang it off the stand. I'm going to start using my stand loop on this because, I have to take everything off to get this thing off because it's just a loop over and then you slide it over. So I used the medium. I think this is the medium. Yeah, this is the medium spot or medium Fresnel. And I used the frosted dome. And I wanted just to do a shoot, not in the studio with all this light, but I wanted to take it around the building to all these dark spots and use this and the dome and really give you a good look at what this does out of the box. Because a lot of people aren't as proficient at lighting. So I really wanted you to see what this thing is going to produce raw. Versus all the fancy, Photoshop work and filters at the end and all that kind of, not that I do that anyway, but you know what I'm talking about. So I kept it on full power on continuous mode at 9,000 lumens versus the flash. Because that's, for me, the end result is that's the way I'm going to be wanting to use it. Because if I don't have to have anything on top of my Leica, I'm happy. I just want to shoot it as natural as can be. And I'm still working on, raising that ISO a little higher and shooting in higher ISOs. Because I do love that look. I mean, I started out with film and grain and absolutely just relished in that. But as the years went on, you are in this constant pursuit of perfection. And unfortunately, it spilled over with me as well to that, that perfect image. And I'm trying to get away from that. And these lights are, the first set, like I said, I love them. I love the first set. By the way, I have a gooseneck on here. I just picked one up. I left one in. I'll leave it in the link in my lighting section in my favorite gear. The newer is in there. But this is a nice gooseneck. The one that I put in the description or the link below has that slide over with the screw, which I think I would like a lot more. This one you have to screw on and it gets loose, and I like that screw on a lot better. So I'm gonna actually pick one of those up myself. Not that this is a bad one, but it is a little too long, and I want that slip over and tighten. But this really helped me just to move the light where I wanted to. Now, I tried this with a strobe and it just didn't work. It didn't hold. But it holds this perfectly fine, and it really allows me to do whatever I want with this, and give me that distance as well. So this is a nice little product. Okay, getting back to this. So anyway, I'm going to get right into the shoot rather than boring you with more conversations. The battery lasted an hour and 15 minutes of the shoot. So I don't know how long it lasted. I mean, I'm sure I can calculate it by looking at my photos and saying, okay, I started shooting this outfit here and I didn't shut it off until here. But I don't have the time or the patience to do that. So the battery lasted for the entire shoot except for the last 15 minutes. And I went an hour and a half with this. I kept it on high. I didn't always shut it off. So it lasted a long time at 9,000 lumens. That's really impressive. Even if this thing lasted an hour at full, I mean, that's impressive. An hour shoot, not hour continuous. But if you shut it off in between, you're not going to have an issue. But I did order another one, and I ordered an extra battery because I see myself using this quite a bit. And then I threw in I shot a model with a 21 millimeter lens. I'm playing with the Leica Super Elmar 21 millimeter f3.4. Wide angle lenses, I'm not looking for a 1.4 or 1.8 or anything like that. It just doesn't matter to me. Wide angle lenses, they have such great depth of field. I'm not using them at events, for that wide of a image. but I do like them for a different look and a different feel to an image. And this Super Elmar is just probably one of the sharpest wide angle lenses I've ever used. And it's like a little less expensive than a normal Leica lens, which doesn't say much because they're so high as to start. But I got this one used. It's such an incredible price, and I got it off of eBay. But I'll tell you what, it was a reputable dealer, Pop Flash or Pop Photo or something. They are pretty impressive. Very good to deal with. Anyway, so I did shoot a couple of the photos on that, which came out beautiful. I love them. But you're really going to get a great look at this thing. And I also used the Profoto Click Octa 2.7 with a grid on it. Somebody was asking me about that, if I could shoot with that with a grid, and I did. So that's at the end as well. And I switched this over to the umbrella at the end, throwing this in an umbrella, which was a small, deep white umbrella. This thing shines in that umbrella. I know Stella Pro is also putting up a new softbox, branded softbox, which I'm looking forward to. I told them to contact me when that's available so I can grab a copy of it and test it out. Because, any LEDs in a softbox, they just don't seem to have the power when you're pushing through material. But when I'm bouncing off of a white umbrella, I seem to get the power I want. But it'll be interesting to see. And I'm going to do another shoot with these with the 2, but I can highly recommend these as they stand because they're just working for me. But take a look at the shoot and see what I did with it. And like I said, these are just hard, straight, raw images that just show you what the light's going to look like and what you can do with it. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. None of my photos are ever perfect on here, but it'll give you an idea what this thing can do. Anyway, thanks again for watching as always, and I really appreciate your support. Have an amazing day.
So my whole goal with this shoot is just show you the Stella Pro Reflex S in its raw state, just using the modifiers that come with it. I'm going to use a dome a few times, and that you have to buy separately, but this is the medium spot that comes with it, and it's a pretty harsh light right out of the box. But you could do some unique things with it. And it's harsh when you are inside and it's the only light source. Like this area of this building is very, very dark. And you can see by the blaring light in her face right now. I mean, it's a bright light, but the camcorder, the video camera just can't keep up with it. And I didn't take the time to adjust it for each one because I really just wanted to show you the raw footage, the raw photos, the way they are. I'll throw some vignette in it and adjust some light here or there, but nothing else. I don't want to put filters on it or do any heavy Photoshop work. I just want you to see what this light can do because it is pretty impressive. And of course, it is a hard light, so you have to get used to using a hard light, in this raw state, and come up with unique ways to use this raw light in this state, because otherwise it's not going to be great for you. Now, throwing an umbrella on this thing, it's fantastic. The 9,000 lumens that this thing puts out, and especially throwing that, the medium spot into an umbrella, it just works. But for these dark kind of areas, it's tough. Now, even though I have window light here, most of this light, I would say at least 90% of it is coming from this spot. And I'm still using that medium spot on this thing. And it, I love the look. I love hard light looks, so that's just me. Now I'm moving it in very close to give that spotlight look. And then I'll switch out to the dome so you can see the big difference. I mean, there's a major difference. You put it close and you have a tight spot. You pull it back, it's going to be a wider spot, obviously. And you can get different size spots with this as well, so you can keep it further away. They have a regular spot, then they have a wide spot, and this is the medium spot. If I got that correctly, I could be somewhat wrong. By the way, I was just showing you, I just switched out to the 21mm lens. This is the Super Elmar 21mm 3.4 lens, which I absolutely love. It's probably one of the sharpest wide-angle lenses I've ever used. And I love the rendering this thing edge to edge. It's beautiful. Okay, so now I switched over to the dome to give that, more all-around kind of light. Now we're probably 80-20 window light versus this, but you can tell there's a lot of light coming from the Stella Pro versus the window. And it was an overcast day as well, so it wasn't really that sunny in the studio. But it is a softer light when you put the dome on it. And I'm going to say softer compared to the Spot. Obviously, it's such a small source that it can't be that soft, but that diffuser dome does work really well. Now, putting this in the same position that it just was, I want you to see the difference between that wide dome versus the spotlight, so you can really see the contrast. It's a great little system, and it really, really works. Now, I'm back outside again. Now, this whole shoot probably took an hour and a half, and I'm obviously turning the light on and off, but I have it at full power the entire time. I have not turned it down at all, especially obviously outside. But, even in studio, I was running full power because I really wanted to see if this thing's going to get me through a full hour and a half shoot. And I say it probably got me through an hour and 15 minutes because it did die at the end, but an hour and 15 minutes on and off, full power, I'm perfectly happy with. And if you had 2 batteries, you would never have to worry about it. And I made the decision after seeing these photos and after doing this shoot that I'm going to definitely pick up a second one because these are actually what I want now. The only thing I would wish for with these would be a remote to be able to shut them off from my camera. I have to go up and shut them off manually. And, it would be really convenient just to hit a remote to shut them off rather than going back and forth, in between shots and so forth. But the power at 9,000 lumens, even outside, is fantastic. Again, I'm not competing with the sun, but you saw in a couple shots there that it did a really, really good job, having me take the ambient light down and using the Spot alone. But again, you're not going to compete with midday sun. That's just crazy. Anyway, here's a couple shots in the umbrella, and then I'm going to switch over to the A2, the Profoto A2 strobe, so you can see the difference. So the straight umbrella obviously is going to give you more of a spread of light, but it's a deep umbrella, so it does contain it just a little bit. And then when I switch over to the A2, I'm going to use the grid on this so I can contain that light some more and just show you it's a little bit warmer with the A2. And I didn't make any adjustments to the camera because I just wanted you to see the difference. That all LEDs seem just a little cooler compared to a strobe, but it is what it is. And the strobe obviously does a great job as always. I love it. And I get the power out of it that I need, but I really did get the power that I'm happy with out of the Stella Pro Reflex S. Anyway, if you have any questions, leave them below. Yes, I do love this light. I'll leave a link for 20% off below.